But yes, I'm Dani. I'm engineering manager here at GerritForge. I'm also a Gerrit community manager, and I contribute somewhat to Gerrit too. And obviously, we have Milutin. I'll let you do your introduction when you get up here. For those of you that don't know, this event also doubles up as a GerritMeets November edition. This event that we run roughly every month. We take a break over summer because there's only so much Gerrit that you can talk about. Then yeah, you're welcome to contribute. Come up if there's anything you want to talk about, discuss, bring up arguments, suggest new talks, offer to host us like Google did. Thank you for that, by the way. Feel free. We're here for it. And then for those of you that don't know GerritForge, we do a lot of Gerrit, as you might guess. We're an open source first company. We've been around quite a long time, actually, just as much as Gerrit has been around. We're one of the main contributors after Google, of course. So roughly speaking, Google, I think, contributed 40% up to the last release, and usually it's 40%. We do around 30, and then there's other companies that do the rest. I'll mention them later. And we also do the releases. We do we host the CI. So anyway, we're very involved in this world. We also contribute to JGit, which is kind of the core of Gerrit. And has anybody here heard of Gatling, the load testing framework? We extended that for the Git protocol. And yes, we load test Git servers. That's the kind of event you've joined tonight, for those of you that didn't know. Of course, we also run Gerrit on Kubernetes, and as Florian just mentioned, on GCP. And then finally, who are we if we don't do some AI? So if you guys have also been affected by your GitHub or GitLab or Gerrit slowing down because now they're serving loads of CI builds off of AI generated code and your SCM is grinding to a halt, come and speak to us. We might have a solution. Now that I've said how beautiful GerritForge is, let's get to the interesting stuff. We'll have a quick introduction of Gerrit. We'll also then talk about the AI support for it that is there now. Then Milutin will talk us about how Google does it, which is why you guys are all here. First of all, I didn't know there was already going to be polls tonight. So here we are. Can I have a quick show of hands for people that use Gerrit all the time? Okay, a few. People that don't know what Gerrit is, or roughly know what Gerrit is, but okay. Okay, quite a few hands going up. Okay, good. You're going to be interested in the next one. So hopefully by the end of the event, when you hear Gerrit, you know that we're talking about Gerrit code review. Okay, so who cares about Gerrit? Obviously, we've heard about Google, but who else cares about Gerrit? Is it really a project that's used out there? Is it really worth your time to care about this? Well, actually, it turns out that a lot of projects that you might have never heard of are developed using Gerrit code review. You've got LibreOffice. I'm sure many of you have heard about that. You've got Qt Creator. Vadim is here. He went to school with me. We learned to code using Qt Creator, and then 10 years later, find out that uses Gerrit. Pretty cool. OpenStack, OpenDev. If you guys use that, they will use Gerrit. Chromium, of course, uses Gerrit. Wikimedia Foundation. I bet anyone to figure out that that's the logo of the Wikimedia Foundation. But they use Gerrit and they contribute a lot as well. And then Fuchsia, of course. Dani speaking after me. He's on the Fuchsia team. I think there's other people here from the Fuchsia team. And lastly, but definitely not leastly, Android, and which is the reason why we're all here. Gerrit was developed to support Android. It's been around since Android has been around. To serve at the scale that Android needs to be, and it has grown, and the features of Gerrit really have followed what Android needed, and that's why essentially everybody that does software development at scale with Android ends up using Gerrit. A few companies that I haven't mentioned here that use Gerrit, we can talk about SAP, Wikimedia Foundation I just mentioned, SAP, NVIDIA, Qualcomm, all of this, Sony, all of these massive companies all using Gerrit. So yeah, do we really need another SCM? We've got GitHub, we've got GitLab. Like, how is Gerrit any different? I know what you guys are saying. It's all the same stuff, just like in some other name. Well, actually, it turns out Gerrit is quite different from the others. And by the way, this does not want to be a full guide. It's definitely not a full guide of Gerrit, but I just want you guys to have some context on how it's different. And then you'll better understand what Milutin and Dani are presenting afterwards. But this is what a Gerrit change screen looks like. Some things are obviously common. You modify files. You can think of this as your PR, by the way, for those of you that use GitHub. So obviously you've got your list of files here, and then immediately something jumps to attention, and this relation chain. And that's the really cool thing of Gerrit. If anybody here has heard of stacked PRs, is what they're trying to bring out now. That's the concept. But essentially what you do in Gerrit is you don't review a branch or like a set of, you don't review a branch, but you review each individual commit. And then you can stack commits on top of each other, and you review each one individually, and it's very easy. This is going to take some time to adjust. Of course, if you've got questions, come and grab me afterwards. And then if you get comments on a change that was earlier in your stack, you don't push a new commit to it. You actually amend that commit and repush it. And actually, if you're using GitHub and amending a commit sounds like hell, but really, because you need to force push and then you need to review everything from the beginning, and it just doesn't work. While in Gerrit, each amendment creates a new patch set, and then you can review your list of patch sets, and then everything is beautiful and everybody's happy. So even if you force push, you don't end up force pushing. And so you can just review the difference each time that you've amended it, rather than having to review everything all the time. Another really neat feature is that in the list of files, you've got the commit message. Now, if you're using GitHub or GitLab, whatever, and you create a PR, and if you're a good human being, you're going to write a nice descriptive PR description. I know a lot of you guys don't do it, but you should. And you're going to spend a lot of time writing it. You're not going to care about your commit message. And then you're going to merge that PR. Whatever ends up in the commit, nobody really knows. Nobody really reviews it. And the very good description that you wrote in GitHub ends up being lost and stays in that system. 10 years later, your company moves to a different system, and that review history is completely lost. And that's a nightmare. While in Gerrit, it's all here. Your PR description is your commit message. You can review it. You can vote on it. And I think this is incredibly neat. And finally, something that nobody else really has figured out and is really important in the Android ecosystem is this thing about topics. What is a topic? Great question. So have you ever had a situation where you've got two completely separate projects, that one PR in one project depends on the PR on the other project? You end up putting like the depends on footer maybe in the PR description or stuff like that. But it's really all a bit messy, and you really it needs to be you that make sure that you merge them only when the both dependent PRs are right? While with topics, you can force Gerrit to say, actually, none of the changes in this topic are going to be submittable unless all of the changes in this topic are submittable. And they can be across as many projects as you want, right? So in the Android ecosystem, when you've got so many different projects and submodules and stuff, this is really important, but I know other people like this feature as well. Right, so that's me done on this. So obviously you're using Gerrit. We know your code is good, but how do we make it better? And that's why we're all here. And that's where the AI enters the chat, and AI code review in particular. So on the 30th of November 22, I believe it was, ChatGPT was released. Has anybody seen the graph of Stack Overflow usage since ChatGPT has been released? Pretty dramatic. And so soon after, it was only natural that someone released a ChatGPT integration for Gerrit, which was done by Xielong, I guess. Never heard of this guy before, never heard of this guy since. He open sourced this code and then was never really around to help the community. It had some neat features though. So you could create a user and call it ChatGPT, I don't know, and then you can add ChatGPT in your commitment in your comment, and this would go and ask ChatGPT some questions or whatever you're hosting, and then it would reply as a comment, and then you can have your conversation there in the Gerrit UI, right? Pretty neat. Some downfalls, which I'll talk about in the future. Obviously, this guy disappeared, so someone else forked the plugin, because that's what you do. Makes sense. Picked it up. We actually collaborated with these guys for a bit to like improve this version of the ChatGPT plugin. We presented this at one of the other GerritMeets, May 24, the slide tells me, which is great. And also what happened here is that there was some misunderstanding, let's say. So I think these guys disappeared for a little bit and then they came back. But in the meantime, someone else had created the third fork, the fork of the fork of the fork. And so now we've got the AI code review plugin, which is essentially a fork of the ChatGPT code review plugin, but they changed the name because it already supported different LLMs, but they wanted to make it clearer, which has a scope, has a point. However, now we're in a bit of a weird situation, right? So we've got 3 different plugins. We don't know who's supporting them. Community is asking questions. Nobody's getting answers. It does it or not in the time frame that they'd like to anyway. And so that creates some frictions there. And then something that's quite unique to Gerrit. So as I mentioned, you do this comment and you get reply as a comment, right? But Gerrit is quite unique from other SCMs in the fact that it doesn't have any external database. So everything that happens in Gerrit is stored in Gerrit as Git commits. And when I say everything, I mean everything. A new user registers, permissions are changed, comments are made, everything is stored in Gerrit. And so this means that your repositories are going to grow a little bit more than they would otherwise. But that's fine because we manage that and there's no problems. However, when AI entered the picture, now we're getting loads of comments, loads of stuff that we don't really care. These comments are massive. And so storing it into Gerrit itself starts becoming a problem. And so we needed something else. And we didn't really know where to go with this. And then the downfall of this is that, again, your SCM system starts being really slow. Your build times start taking forever and nobody's happy. So at this point in time, you could think, things are pretty bad. What are we going to do to solve this? And this is where my life has been very easy by the last minute addition of Milutin, who is going to do the interesting part of this talk on my behalf.
Hi, I'm Milutin. I work on Gerrit as a Google employee for 6 years. I was front-end engineer, but recently I do lots of AI integration. And I will start first thing that is already put into Gerrit, and the history is kind of like my personal. I was playing with the AI, and so here you have a change, which is like git commit, and I wanted to access this commit. So if I review something, I want what they did as a div and the commit message, and I wanted AI to do something with it. And the thing that Git does is git patch. So you can check out the change, do git patch, you get all the diffs and commit message. And then I start putting it to AI and said, review it. Or I put it to some AI and said, like, do the similar change and find it very useful. So then I was lazy to check out. So I created a button. It's called create AI prompt. And what it does, it opens this dialog and I prepared 3 things that I found useful. So one is help me with review, where there is a classical prompt that you say that UAI is experience code review, and you review the git patches. This is how Linux is actually reviewing patching. In the mails, they send the git patch. So this is, you give AI, and AI is kind of trinating on these mails. So you can review the patch, you can improve the commit message if you are author, or just use the patch content quickly and use it for generating similar change. And so here is, you have this button, this open dialog. You just click the copy prompt and you put it to Gemini or ChatGPT, depends on what your company allows. For Google, it's Gemini. And you get nice reviews with critical issues, minor issues, and these things. And it's quite successful. Like lots of people are using it. Its authors are using it as a review, so they send it for reviews only after AI reviews it, and also reviewers use it to find issues. So, for example, if sometimes it finds issues that I haven't seen, like missing tag or something. So it's quite useful. So this is you don't need any backend, nothing. This is for users to copy, and it was so simple, and it is quite successful. But in Google we have lots of APIs, so we have some solutions. So one thing that in Gerrit, we have something like, we call it checks or findings, and it's like CI is running some tests like linter or something, and they produce these findings. So on specific line, they will say that there is some issue. So for example, here is issue that there is a merge conflict. And so this is, so if somebody submit the change, usually the host admins prepare the CIs to run. And so what we added is get AI fix. So you click the get AI fix, the AI reads the full file, and try to find the fix that you can click apply fix, and it will close this as solved and prepare new change, and it just continue. You can continue. We also use the same API for review. So in the Google, if you are typing a comment, as you are typing, we are producing these fixes. So the reviewer can decide if they want to attach this fix to a comment anytime. If it doesn't make sense, like there is no obvious fix, they don't attach. But API is similar. You just, for a comment, you select what you are selecting with the comment, the full file, and ask Gemini, for our case, to produce a fix. And we have this UI that is showing a fix, and it's easy to review. The other thing that we do is auto-completion. So if you open the comment, sometimes you can type comment without even typing, because you selected something that is obvious back. It can finish the whole comment that you would write. Like, you care about sorting, you just write neat, and it understand that the sorting is not correct, so it writes the full comment. You can also attach so then you attach the comment and attach also fix, because as I said before, the feature that is adding fixes, so you can, as a reviewer, just autocomplete the comment and autocomplete the fix, send it to author to decide to fix. The other thing that we are not doing as a Gerrit, but are doing the admins like Android and Chrome, so they already do automated AI code reviews. So they like use Gemini CLI or something, CI pipeline. They produce these findings or checks, as I showed before. This can be AI comment, and they are showing this as they are giving AI comments to the reviewer or author, because both of them can see these AI comments that are produced by CI running. So if you want simple one, in the CI, you just add something like Gemini CLI that runs some prompt that will review the Git patch, and it will produce the lines where it should create these findings and give it to authors. So that's also not that difficult to do. The other thing that is currently in the progress, it should be done next month, is AI chat. So this is when we don't want to copy the prompt to Gemini, but just discuss the change from the Gerrit. So we give this AI chat again all the files, all the commit message. We are still considering even give different information about summit requirements, authors, and everything. And then you as author or you as a reviewer can discuss the change. You can summarize the change. You can review the change. What is cool is that this AI engine will be able to call tools. So you can give it tool to create a comment or draft. So this will be this December, when AI will suggest the comments. There will be down, and you as a reviewer or author can say that this is good comment and attach it as your comment, saying this is AI comment, but I like it or something. So we will give this AI chat Gerrit APIs, kind of, that they can create the comments, maybe even vote in future. This is still work in progress. You can ask any question. Maybe we will also allow the admins to create a custom prompts or something like people are doing in Gemini MD or Cloud MD. So what I showed, this is only available to Googlers. because Google is paying for the backend, and we are testing these features for Google's. But it's not actually difficult to implement it if you want to. You just implement plugin that enables this, because the UI is implemented in Gerrit frontend, and it's just it's checking if there is a plugin that implements the interface, and if there is a plugin on the Gerrit that implements the interface, then the UI will show up. So, and it's not big science, because all these fixes, you can just say to some LLM to produce these fixes. If you create a good prompt, and you also do some cleanup of what the prompt produce, then you can have quite high acceptance. Like, we don't do any specific things. We can almost use the pure Gemini to do this. It's not that much work. So yeah, it's there, but we just don't provide this API, but everybody can provide API. Okay, and back to Dani.
Nice of me. Cool. Where are you going? Come back. There might be questions, you don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, so where do we go from here? I think, yeah, we're gonna get the APIs at some point also for the backend in Gerrit itself, Gerrit Code, eventually.
Also,
hopefully. And I think we will also look to provide first implementation of them as GerritForge for Gemini at least. And then we see where the community takes it from there. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. If there's any questions that anybody had, I have one. Luca has one. Yeah. No, you go.
Okay, so the question was about the chatbot.
Mhm.
So you were saying that on the chatbot, I can select some of the comments. They can be translated in AI comments or AI fixes or AI suggestions. And those ones are stored in Gerrit, right?
Yeah,
So where are they stored? Are they stored in NodeDB? And how do I see after the event, say, in terms of audit trail, how do I know that those were generated by AI and not by human? And what is the history that is kept in Gerrit?
so the current version that will be in December, it will give you a button to attach it, and it will attach it as you, and probably in the text there will be like AI comment, but you will attach, so it will be saved normally as you are producing comment. But we are thinking about automatic reviews. So as you see, I don't want to click any button, so I would like to see that the review is done. You don't need to open AI chat, and the comments will be shown. And so we are still discussing with where these comments will be. If there will be like the checks that we do for CI or as a comments, it's not decided yet.
Aren't you concerned that these will create an overload on LTV again? And we are coming back to the problems that Dani was mentioning of the nightmare of the free plugins polluting the repo.
Yeah. So as we were playing with this prompt, there were these critical issues and major issues and minor issues. So I hope it will not be issue that if we select for major issues and start with that. But I don't know. Like also the Google so the CI, that's admin how they save the CI checks. So like Lint is also producing a lot of this, so probably we will use this thing, and so people probably have a system how to save this.
I have a question. Are the chats resumable? So like I start a conversation, it starts going long, I go home and then come back the next day. Can I restart that conversation where I left it off, or you want to go back? We go back. Don't worry. Technology is good.
It's small, but here is a history button.
Okay.
So you can go to all histories. But this is saved by API, our API. So if you want to have history button and you want to support this, you will need to implement your storage.
And
so we will leave to plugins, like how they store
this. Makes sense. And is it shareable? So can other users see that I've had this conversation?
No.
Okay.
No. It's not even shareable between the changes. It would be nice feature, but it's only on the change.
So, good question. So, is the context that the chat has just a change, or has it got context of the whole code base?
No, currently it will be just change, but
Okay.
yeah, it would be nice to have whole relation change.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah, so the question is that if this history is for the whole repository saved or just for the change, and the history saved only for that change that user. That's everything.
And if you are administrator of that repository, you can check all the histories or getting all these histories.
No, like the.
Repeat the question.
Sorry. So the question was that if admin can see the history or get it, but no, if this is accessible only to users for their. Yes.
So if I'm asking like questions I should have known, no one will see.
Good question.
Yes. Yes. So we don't need to be afraid that somebody else will see this. Questions?
So like you're using more or less the general endpoint, but you query, not like personalized things as you have Claude AI or Gemini, CLI, where you have like a context. So like John is always using the same pattern. He likes factory pattern or whatever, and we do that all the time with contributes, like more or less personalized.
So the question was that if this is personalized. So currently we have a system prompt that we attach to each of these, but yes, we will do personalized things. So if you as a user or admin define something that you want to attach to each of these, it will be attachable.
But you need to do that manually.
You need to kind of like you need to put it into some file like Gemini MD or Claude MD, so you kind of shareable.
So no rack system behind, but there's memory, etc. Where use fancy, a lot of context. Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. The question was that if this is more. No, this is very simple. It's still very similar to this AI prompt. You just have it inside of the Gerrit. You call something that is more advanced that it will. You can create a change. That's the interaction of this with this. You don't need to open your model and these things, but we will continue. This is the first version, so this is something that will be just December, and we will continue on this. Any other questions? Yes.
Be interested. You went already with this experience-wise, right? Did it improve faster reviews or review time for yourself, or did it also improve the code quality? In regard like less bugs and I don't know.
Okay, so the question was that if this improves or something. So we don't have data. It's in the work in progress. We don't know how it will improve. We will definitely look of the time of the review and everything. But currently, lots of people are clicking on this create button and doing it. So I guess they have some value when they are able to click button, copy prompt, and open it. So I assume that when they will have it there, more closer, that it will be beneficial. We also, what for us is interesting, how many comments will be attached by reviewers from AI. That will be our big success if we get lots of comments like this into the system. Yeah, the question?
One more question. So is there a way to say for this question the answer, for example, with power, right? I don't want this AI to think about it or again on PR's future view. This is not a problem. So really get into that. Is there a way to stay away from it?
So the question is if we can execute some things that AI will repeat all the pairs because it's maybe it say that it's problem, but it's not. As I said, that we plan that admins or users can do their own custom prompts. So in custom prompt, you can say that this is okay. for this code base. Like, don't look into this linked issue because this is how we do it. So yes, the plan is that there will be some customization. The question?
You mentioned how much tokens have been used for a single code review or change for the whole week.
Yeah. So the question is if they calculate the tokens and everything. So this is a plan for Google's only for now, and the Google is not looking much into tokens, but it is very expensive if you continue the discussion. Each discussion is using the previous, so you can have several terms in the API. You can discuss, you can, in the add content, you can do Google Docs and lots of things. So if you have design doc, you can attach the design doc or other changes from Gerrit, other things into context, so it can grow very fast. But we were not that concerned yet about the.
Someone has too much money.
It's not in the production, but yet. So we will see. If there will be issue, we will be limiting like. But that's based on the plugin provider, API provider. Who is paying them? That's his like their concern. How much tokens it is, and yeah.
I guess whoever implements the plugin could implement something like that.
Yeah.
And it's a very interesting question because then it opens up a whole world of configuring that per user. Do you allow some users to have a higher quota, some other users to have a lower quota?
And so just one idea, maybe we could do something in Gerrit similar to the quota management that already has in Gerrit. So in Gerrit has the concept of a quota, but the way that you implement the quota is a plugin. So maybe we could do something similar in 3.14 by saying even the API and the possibility to say you define a quota in the ACLs or in the global capabilities, and then of course say the plugin developer. So in case of Gemini, there will be GerritForge providing the Gemini plugin for Gerrit. That will say, okay, this is mapped into these tokens.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think that's pretty much it. Cool. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.